Thanks, guys, for joining the first AceMakers show. I hope you like the new format. So the new format of calls is to share some newest discoveries from clients from the last weeks. I will host these calls every 2 weeks. And during these calls, we're going to talk about things that I discover working one-on-one with clients. And then there is some crazy stuff that I keep discovering. So I thought that I need to just share this with you guys because those things are really on the cutting edge. What I can see I'm working on with the clients is on the cutting edge of AI, data scraping, and there are all sorts of other things that I start discovering every week and learning. So I really want to share this with you. So I condensed it into some actionable agenda. And I also wanted to bring some people on the call every 2 weeks that have figured something inside of the AceMakers community. So for example, we have Mike on the call today who have figured how to get clients using cold email strategy using Loom videos. So what he's able to do now is to literally send a cold email to somebody randomly and then send them a Loom video and then turn them into a client. So it's super exciting because it's a very scalable funnel to find people through lists and convert them into clients. So that's one thing that we'll be sharing towards the end of the call. That's what Mike is going to talk about. Also got Emil, who is a cold email expert and has some cool strategies that he has figured. So he will be sharing those as well so that we can put our brains together. And also I want to share today with you some things I've learned in the last few weeks regarding AI automation tools that are useful for everybody on this call. Because a lot of you guys are building lists, scraping data, and I think this will be very, very practical for you. And also I wanted to share some of the frameworks I discovered regarding problem solving. I've realized that a lot of people running their digital business, they are extremely busy, stressed, and they don't even know what they should focus on. So basically they're busy all the time and they have no idea, okay, should I focus on this thing today or should I focus on something else? So I was thinking about the framework that I could use to be more efficient with my planning and doing my work to move the needle farther. So I wanted to share those discoveries with you as well so that you can apply them in your daily business. So I hope this will be very actionable for you. So I'll jump first into some things I've learned about automation this last few weeks, learning about how to build automation, learning about how to no code to make your processes more efficient. And then we're going to jump to the next topic. So this one's really exciting. Just a quick intro for you guys. If you're not familiar with automation, you could use RPA. So that's robotic processing automations. So you could build automations. So you could think of Zapier, for example, or you could think of more advanced tools, or now there will be more automations coming using AI. And that's something really exciting that I want to show you. I've seen these tools myself live, and this is absolutely ridiculous. What I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind. You can literally open a page with leads or a website and just show this automation. Hey, I want you to copy all the email addresses, or I want you to get this database of pictures, or I want you to send all these email forms to this like thousands of websites, and it can just do it for you. So this is completely ridiculous. The tool I will show you is not yet released, but this will be released very soon. And so I want you guys to be on the cutting edge of the industry. So let me just quickly show you first how a typical RPA automation works, just so you can have an idea. So typical RPA automation would be using a tool like UiPath, sorry. So this would look like this. So you would show what needs to be done. You would click things on your computer. You would, for example, so one of the use cases that I have built, obviously with the help of developers, was to go to LinkedIn and then check on LinkedIn whether the position in the company is still the same position as in the spreadsheet. And if the position changed, you would update the spreadsheet. So the tool can do it. So you need to specifically show the tool, you need to click here, you need to do that, but you need to spend all this time creating this automation. That's a little bit boring, and you need some technical skills, and it takes some time. There is possibility to just ask ChatGPT now to help you build it. So that's quite exciting. So for example, when I was trying to figure one thing with UiPath automation, I could just ask ChatGPT, literally explain me how to set up UiPath so that it finds all emails from Fabian, and then that do have an attachment, and downloads them and puts them in the folder attachments from Fabian. So it's going to explain you how to do it, but you still have to go through all these steps. Now, a cool thing about AI automations is that you can just show it what you want it to do, and it will be able to just do it for you. So let me show you some examples of how this will work. So this is an example of a tool that will be released. This is called Clipboard AI by UiPath, and here are some examples of how this will work. I'll just make sure that I can share audio with you guys so you can hear it. But this is absolutely ridiculous. So take a look at this.
To a web form. The process begins with selecting and copying multiple rows of company supplier information from the spreadsheet. Clipboard AI accurately fills out all the required fields based on the copied information. It completes the task by pasting the remaining rows of information seamlessly.
Okay, so for example, this use case, what you can do now is, I think you might be familiar with the website form funnel. It's a funnel that we're teaching in AceMakers. It's a funnel where you go to a website, you go to their form, and you send them a message through their form, because people check their forms. And so it was a manual process, and somebody had to do it throughout the whole day. Now you can have an Excel spreadsheet with your message, with your company name, with depending on what fields that does the website have. For example, it could be phone number, and it would just go through all the websites for you, and it could do around 600 in 1 minute. So it can just go with 600 websites in a minute, and then it can just do it for you, and then you are able to contact all these leads right away. So that's one absolutely crazy use case of this. Here is another one.
Copy. The robot efficiently inputs passport information into a travel form. Upon clicking Copy, the robot instantly recognizes the image as a passport and extracts the data. Just click Paste, and the travel form is...
So it can just pick up images as well. So that you have lead lists, but they don't want to show you the phone number or email. They just show you an image. And to copy this, you can't really do it because it's hard coded. This tool can just understand what's on the website from a picture. Another example, it can go through websites or documents and contracts, and it can extract information as you want it. So for example, a use case of, let's say you're searching for an apartment. So let's say you search for an apartment, and then you want only apartments that have a gym, that only have a, let's say, monthly payment, that only have this price, that are only furnished, and you want to go to a website. So I was on one of those websites recently, and then you have to go through all of them, and I was just making this spreadsheet by myself, and this spreadsheet just took so much time to create, so I can pick the one that makes sense. Now this tool can scrape the entire website and understand what's on each of the pages and create an Excel spreadsheet for you that you can later filter based on your criteria. And another use case, obviously, all those email scraping websites, you could just have it to pull up 600 emails for you from any page in just a couple of minutes. So that's AI. Now, the coolest thing about it is that you don't really need to code it. You just show it what you want it to do once or twice, and then it understands what you want it to do. That's the first thing I wanted to share with you guys. The second thing I wanted to share with you guys is problem solving. So in the last months, I had a lot of challenges solving problems because there was just so much stuff on my head, and a lot of people in AceMakers community were also struggling and are always struggling with the time with solving problems, and they're overwhelmed and they don't know what to do. And oftentimes I just talk with people and they're like, oh, should I be working on this or on something else? And people just don't know. So I just wanted to share with you a framework of solving problems by yourself that I started using that generates really, really great results for me in terms of my efficiency. So I have 4 steps for you that I wanted to share. So the first one is, if you're thinking what to do, like what am I supposed to do today? Like, what am I supposed to work on? Am I supposed to like send emails to clients? Am I supposed to go yoga? Am I supposed to like do calls, or what should I do? This is something that really, really made sense to me, to ask myself what stops me from moving to the next step, whatever that next step is. So for example, if you're currently at 10 grand revenue, what is stopping you to get to 100K? Or if you're currently having like 10 clients, what is stopping you to get 100 clients? So ask yourself, what is stopping you to get to that next step, whatever that next step is. So that's the first thing you do. The second thing that you do is a bit cliche, and I have some cliche things to share with you, but it works really great, is to turn it into a SMART goal, to be very, very specific. So for example, you want to have, so you have 10 clients, you want to have 100 clients. So how do you get to 100 clients? So you get to 100 clients by reverse engineering, for example, how many setter calls do you need? How many closer calls do you need? So you need to break this down by reverse engineering how to get to that goal. But you also need to put this on the timeline. So you need to put this on the timeline, and you need to make this extremely measurable. So it should look like a timeline. There should be all the numbers behind this. So it should be very specific. And this could be about your sales KPIs. This could be about really anything you need to do in your company. So if your goal is to improve the delivery, obviously you would need to create those measures. So I started creating those simple spreadsheets, and those were the basis of creating all the tasks that I need to be working on. And then suddenly you have 45,000 different tasks in your Asana on the things you need to do. Because now you need to figure out your setter call script. Now you need to figure out your closer call script. Now you need to figure out your presentations. Now you need to figure out your landing page. Now you need to figure out your lead generation funnel. Now you suddenly have so many things that you feel extremely overwhelmed. And so now this one is a bit cliche again, but what really helped me is to pull up entire Asana across all the projects. I have normally more than 10 client projects at a time. All of them are in Asana. We also have Asana internally, but in Asana, or probably another tool that you use, what you can do is you can pull up all these projects into one board, and so that you can see only your tasks. And then what you can do is you can break them down into Eisenhower matrix. So you can break them down into important and urgent, important and not urgent, not urgent and not important, and so on. So you would have those 4 categories. And then you can easily see all your tasks across all the projects, which was extremely overwhelming for me working with so many different projects and clients, and just simply pick on those that are important and urgent to focus on first. And then the next challenge was that the problems started appearing. So I've started realizing that myself, I'm just always saying, all right, I don't know how to solve it. There are problems. And I also realized that everybody that I want to delegate work to, they always come to me with problems. So I started going with this approach of, hey, don't come up with problems, come up with solutions. I started keeping everyone accountable on, hey, like, cool, I can help you solve that, and I can direct you. We can talk about it for a bit, but I really need you to come up with the solutions. Otherwise, I can just use AI clipboard AI to just replicate a process. So if you can't solve problems, then I could use clipboard AI. So I started keeping everyone accountable for this process of, hey, I want you to come up with solutions, and I started doing this myself. So I have a lot of really complicated problems to solve every day, and then I couldn't really solve them. And then I thought, all right, screw that. I'll just think of solutions to those problems. I'll list those solutions, and then I will think which solution is the best. And then another thing appeared, which is the really last step, which is backing everything you say or think with the data. So a lot of solutions are actually either stupid, or they don't really make sense, or they don't solve what you need to have solved in the first place. And that's why it's so important to back up everything that you say with data. And that's why it's so important to keep yourself accountable. For example, if you have a tracking sheet, and then you start thinking, all right, how do I get more leads? You might start thinking, all right, I have this problem. I don't have enough leads, because I think we talked about it with Mike, for example. There are like, should we look into Loom videos? Maybe Loom videos aren't great. But then we just look at the data, and we can clearly say, well, we don't actually need to even check Loom videos. They're probably fine. What we need to do is just 10x the amount of emails we're sending out. That's just an example. But this is so important to just back up everything you say with data, so that you can understand what problems really matter, so that you can move the needle, and how you can solve them. So that is what I have prepared for you guys. Now we have Emil and Mike to share some cool findings on the Loom funnel. So Mike, why don't you just take over and just share a bit on what we figured regarding Loom videos sent to clients that actually got you sales from somebody completely cold, never spoke to you before. Really curious to hear about that.
Yeah. So how's it going, guys? So yeah, so something that's been working for me lately is a combination of doing cold email outreach, really with the goal of just starting a conversation. And then from there, I'm asking if I could put together like a quick custom video, just kind of highlighting how we could get them more customers. And then usually when I send the video, what I do is just to make sure I'm like capturing their attention, I'll start on their website. So then when it's sent in an email, it shows a nice box with their website, excuse me, and then me in the corner. So typically kind of the methodology I follow with these videos is just trying to capture their attention right away. So one with the website, and then just letting them know, like at the beginning of the video, the goal of this video is to show you some ways where you can get some new customers for your business. From there, I then try to identify a problem. One common problem I've been finding within the industry that I'm targeting is a lot of people are paying somebody for SEO, and they're not quite sure exactly what they're doing. So I'll then show them like SEMrush. And if you guys are not familiar with that, that'll just show some statistics on like organic data, like what keywords they're ranking for, as well as paid data. Pretty much from there, I'll show them like, look, you know, maybe you're ranking for some of your branded terms, but these people are already familiar with your brand. So usually when they're going to Google searching for this, they're going to find your site anyway. But then I'll show them like maybe some of the keywords they'd want to rank high for. They're ranking like position 10, 15, 20. And I'm just showing them like it's probably unlikely someone's going to actually go to the 50th result on the Google search to actually find your business. And then I let them know what we could do is actually we could use Google Ads to get you into one of the top positions. From then, I kind of show a little demonstration. I'll show them one of my clients. I'll search a term that would indicate one of the services they provide. I'll show them that pops up there. And then I'll add in a little bit of like social proof. I'll just show them a couple of case studies for other clients that we've worked with. And then explain to them if they want to hear more about this, we could just set up a quick call and I can kind of go over this with them. And that's really kind of the framework that's been working for me with the Loom.
And can you share the numbers? How like what are the numbers behind getting one client on every stage of a funnel? So how many emails do you need to send to get? So let's just maybe clarify the stages for everyone, so everyone's understanding it. So there is a cold email being sent out that says, hey, do this audit for you or whatever. You can just clarify that in a second. So that's a stage one. There's no Loom video there, just to clarify Fabian's question. Once they reply positively, you send them a Loom video. Is that correct? So that's the second step.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then once you send them the Loom video, they reply, and then you go further and continue exchanging emails until you schedule a call with them. So can you share some, and then you have a setter call, and then you have a closer call. And then this is how you got the sale last time, for example. Can you share some numbers? How many cold emails you need to send? How many Loom videos you need to send? What's the numbers at every stage to get one sale?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna actually open up my my tracking sheet here so I can let you know some of this. And so this is a newer kind of process with the Loom. This is kind of something I developed as I was running a different sort of process. So previously I was just trying to book a call via email, and that wasn't working as well. And then when I started doing the Loom video, it was easy for me to kind of get the point across that, like, okay, there's a problem here and we may have a solution. Whereas the email, they kind of think maybe it's like it's spammy, they're trying to sell me something, they're not sure. But then when they can physically actually see like myself and then their website and like what the problem is and what the solution is, then I think that builds a little bit of trust, and that started working better. So because I wasn't doing this previously, the numbers are a little bit skewed. But typically, if I said, like, for example, 14 Loom videos, it's just about 50% of them people are watching these videos. And then out of the people that are watching the videos, about 25% are responding. And then I'm booking a setter and a closer call. And the closer call right now is about 50%.
That's really exciting, especially because those are called leads. So right now, so you got the list, and then like right now you somehow got like a list of like 80,000 leads or something. Can you share for how is it even possible?
Yeah, so I was exploring a couple different tools just to extract some leads. Previously, I was using like a lead gen company that was doing it for me, but I decided that to kind of control the process myself. So the one tool that I recently discovered that I've been working with is scrap.io. So essentially, this will scrap a bunch of businesses from Google Maps listings. And so the particular industry that I'm targeting is automotive. And with this tool, it was actually much quicker than some of the other tools that I looked at, because when people set up their Google My Business or Google Business profile, they categorize their business within different categories. And luckily for my particular industry, there's a whole bunch of different categories within automotive. So I was able to actually extract these leads rather quickly. And then there was also some other really good filters that could help as well. Like you could sort leads by, for example, people that have an ad pixel installed on their website, or people that have a contact form on their website. You can even extract if they have a LinkedIn as well. So I was playing around with different combinations of just searches here. And I was able to extract about 80,000 leads within the last couple of weeks using this tool.
How much did it cost you to extract 80,000 leads?
Yeah, so I went with their top plan. So their top plan is 500 US per month, and this allows you 100,000 export credits. So you can export 100,000 leads or different email addresses.
Okay, that's crazy. So you have 80,000 email addresses. So now you're building your email tool to scale it so you can send like 10x what you were sending before, right? So you're just 10xing the thing you did. Cool.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. And then also a cool thing, because we were kind of like, dancing back and forth, trying to find optimizations. And at some point, me and Mike, we just thought, all right, let's just 10x the thing that works. Why are we like thinking about like 20 different things at the same time, like always spreading like, ourselves too thin on like what we're going to work on? Let's just, scale the thing that works, just do more of that. So really excited and looking forward to see how the scaling process will work. Obviously, you can always reach out to Emil as well, since he's a cold email expert. So if you get stuck somewhere, and then let's make it smooth. segue to Emil as well, just to cover some of other cool cold email strategies that Emil you were figuring out. Can you share a bit of a background story, how you figured them out, whether you did figure them out, whether you found out about them? But it's really cool to hear about that story and what the strategies are on the top level overview.
No, 100%. So, yeah, if no one knows who I am, my name's Emil, and I've been in cold email for the best part of a year now, a little bit longer than a year. And I was actually working for a cold email agency about a year ago as well. And one of the problems that we had when working with the agency was that a lot of our clients, they wanted high, really big companies. We're talking investment banks, we're talking Deloitte, they want to get in the door with really large businesses. And while I was working with them, we were really struggling to create an offer and to really get inside these businesses. We were targeting HR, we were targeting the C-suite, the CEO, the COO. Nothing was working. And I really had to think about what we had to do in order to get in the door. Like, how can I get in the door with these individuals? And from the basic point of marketing, my marketing philosophy is very much value given. Just like you said about the looms, Mike, you give them value through the loom and they're likely to reciprocate. And this is exactly what we did. So we tested out a free keynote. It's like a webinar. So we offered them a keynote to their C-suite team or their HR team or to their technical team on a really relevant topic. So I'll give you an example. For a leadership development company, we would offer their HR team a keynote on how to help the C-suite upskill in their leadership development. Free keynote, 40 minutes. What is the funnel here? So firstly, by actually offering the keynote in the first email, we saw replies triple. This was about a year ago, and we're still seeing really great results now for this. So replies tripled. We were getting about an interested response rate of around 3 to 4%. So this is people replying interested. And the funnel, would you like me to describe the funnel, Matt, about how it actually works? And
yeah, if you could on the top level, obviously we don't have time for like all the details and sharing the entire copy right now, but really curious to understand the top level overview, like what is the step by step, that there is an email, then there's a keynote, then there's a call. Really interested to understand the building blocks of this.
100%. So yeah, it's all well and good saying we offer them a keynote, but how does it actually work? So what we do is that we offer their HR team or someone significant in the company a free keynote to their team. And we say, look, we actually recorded a video explaining what you can expect. So I'd get the client to record a video before, then we'd send over the video so they can watch the video and get a good idea of what they can expect from the keynote, make it look really professional. And then we tell the individual, hey, why don't we have a quick 20-minute chat just to see if this is a good fit and see what you'd like us to include in the keynote. So you'd only really want to do this with big businesses because it takes a lot of time. But if we're talking Heineken, Vodafone, Deloitte, JP Morgan, then it's worth it, right? 20-minute call. After that, you actually arrange the webinar. You get their team together, you find an hour, and you deliver the webinar. It's just a presentation going through what you agreed that you were going to deliver. After the webinar, near the end, you tell the person which you arranged it with, hey, John, hey, Sandy, do you mind if we have a quick call sometime this week? I just wanted to get some feedback on how your team received the keynote. And
sorry, just a question, would that request for call be after the keynote? Is there any call before the keynote if I missed it?
So
there's also a quick call as well,
just
right?
to set it up, and then you'd have the actual keynote with all of their team members. And then near the end of the keynote, you can just, say in front of everyone, hey, Sandy, do you mind if we arrange a quick call later? I'd love to get some feedback on how you found the keynote. And they always say yes. And then after that, you can talk about whether you can do more work together for them and you can start the sales process.
That's amazing. Just curious how, this initial message, it says that, hey, we would have that keynote, right? It already pitches the keynote, right? At the beginning.
So okay. So you can, there's a little bit of nuance here. So yes, you can pitch the keynote, you can personalize it. You can say, hey, look, we were reaching out to investment banks in London, asking if the HR team would be interested in a free keynote. We delivered the keynote to X and Y before, so a little bit of social proof. And we were just wondering if this is something that you'd be interested in.
And it's free. You mentioned.
And yeah, you have to say it's free.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then they say, yeah, and then say, okay, let's arrange a quick call to brief you on how it works. And then you also send them a video, right, with the intro from the speaker.
Yeah. So you can either, the CTA for the first email is either, you know, hey, do you mind if I send some more information? Or, hey, do you mind if I send a short video explaining a little bit more about the keynote? And then, you know, they just say, yeah, sure, send it over. You send the video, and then you ask them if they're free for a quick call.
That's amazing. And then, yeah, then the sales, I can see how the, you know, sales are working out better. You can
be quite sneaky with it as well. So what we found worked the best was in the first email saying that the CEO of the company told, so let's say I work in a company and I'm the sales rep, and let's say Matt's the CEO. So Matt, in the email, it would say, hi, Jasmine, Matt asked me to reach out, asking if you would mind if he can deliver a free keynote to you, if that makes sense. That worked the best when the CEO tells the sales rep to reach out and you actually mention that, plus use the forwarding angle, which you know, Matt, which is a whole different story.
Which is crazy, yeah.
And then you add all of these layers on top of each other, you get a, you know, a campaign which books 1%, 2%.
Yeah, you're a hacker.
Yeah.
Like a funnel hacker. That's
just optimize, and you just add different, you know, every little bit you add adds at 0.5%. So yeah, we're using this with a client right now. We're getting about 2% positive reply rate. We're booking about half of them onto the keynote. Yeah. So that's the numbers that we're seeing right now. Before, it depends on the client, right? One other really important thing is that the keynote has to be highly relevant. It has to be a keynote that interests them. So the client we're doing it right now, we're actually targeting secondary schools in the United States. And it's a keynote on, drum roll, AI. Of course, everyone wants an AI keynote. They want to know how it's going to affect them. They want to know what they should be doing to implement it. It's a highly relevant topic in the industry.
That's how I got you guys on this call too.
There we go. That's why it works. You need to use that. So the keynote, if you're interested, the topic we used for the leadership development program in the UK last year was, so Fabian, typically it would be, it doesn't actually matter who runs it. It can be the CEO, it can be the head of sales, whoever's most comfortable actually presenting the keynote is who should run the keynote. Typically it would be the CEO, because we were dealing with smaller companies, which were about 10 to 20 employees. And if it's a large company like Deloitte, they'd be happy to do a free keynote to Deloitte, because that could be a big sale.
Awesome. All right, guys, we have 8 minutes left. Let's just jump into some questions that you might have, either to Emil or to any of us, to Mike, to me, regarding things we talked about today. Fabian, I see you have some questions there. Do you just want to start with those?
Sure, I can repeat them. 2 questions. One is, are you delivering these keynotes individually, or is that like a group keynote where to make it a bit more efficient? Second question is, could it also be external speakers who are running these keynotes? Probably would only make sense if you have a group of leads joining in instead of just an individual lead.
Okay, so yeah, it really depends upon what your goal is. So for the leadership development program that we were offering this keynote for, we wanted the whole keynote to the whole C-suite. You have the whole decision makers there, you get them really bought in. And obviously the keynote, yes, you're giving them really valuable information, but it is a sales argument as well. And you're showing them what's possible, and you're kind of giving them a taste of your program as well. So the more decision makers you have on the keynote, the better. However, you can, if you like, just offer the keynote to the individual as well. That does work. And in terms of external speakers, Fabian, I'd say I've never tried it, but there's good reason for it. And it's because the person that outreaches is typically the one that actually presents the keynote. I'm sure it could work, but it's, in my opinion, it's better to have the person that's going to sell or the CEO actually deliver the keynote.
To position them as an expert, I could imagine.
You position them as an expert, and then they're way more likely to buy from you.
absolutely crazy how you can put your foot through the door, target larger companies, and
So, yeah.
have them not knowing anything about you beforehand.
Nothing.
Absolutely
And I'll tell
insane.
you just really quickly. So personally booked clients. So Deloitte, Heineken, Barclays, Vodafone, Jaguar, Land Rover. I could go on and on and on. Pfizer. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's very powerful.
That's absolutely insane. Do you guys have any other questions?
Actually, I do have a question. So with some of these bigger companies that you're reaching out to, what is like the title of the person that you're usually doing the outreach to?
Okay, so it depends what your service is, and it depends what you are offering them as well. It really, really is dependent. HR is good, but I'm finding that HR is getting a little bit saturated. The CEO is good if it's under 100 employees. After that, you're really not going to get hold of them. It's a very difficult question to answer, and it depends on a lot of factors. What you're offering, what your service is, and the employee size of the company. There's a lot of factors.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. If there are no more questions, then yep, Ali, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing your knowledge. Very useful. I think that Mike mentioned about scrub.io for the lead generation form. And Emil, do you also use any specific cold email lead generation platform that you can share with us?
There's a lot. There is a lot, and there's a plethora. Actually, there's so many different ones. Apollo is great, but most people use Apollo incorrectly. So they use Apollo and then they just use a generic bulk email checker, neverbounce.com. And what you find is that you only get about 40 to 50% of the emails cleaned. You want to use an app called Scrubby. Scrubby is very, very good because it has a very unique way of verifying the leads, which means that if I have 10,000 leads, I can actually squeeze out about 7,000 of them instead of only getting 5,000. So also, if you use Scrubby, you have a competitive advantage because the leads that Scrubby can verify, only a few people have actually sent out to them. So they're warmer and more receptive generally as well. But no, I should really make a video and put it on the AceMakers because I feel like, this is something people want to know about. The softwares, what the best ones to use, et cetera, et cetera.
That'd be really useful for sure. All right, guys, you have been amazing. Thanks so much for joining. We do have a recording of this, so if you're tuning in from the outside, you can join AceMakers as well and join these calls on a bi-weekly call. If you want, it's acemakers.io. And thanks so much, guys, for joining. And then we're gonna now wrap it up and talk in 2 weeks from now.